All right. What's up out there, horror fam? Steven, aka Bojangles here, and out with the doctor tonight, and in with the Necro. That's right, I have Necro with me. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, dude. And, I'm not going to do any name drops or anything here, but you're a filmmaker yourself, so maybe you can give us some insider insight on the topic we're going to discuss tonight, dude.
I'll do my best, man. It's all an incestuous and sex-filled market that they live in, headed
Hell
by
yeah.
Bob Weinstein.
Yeah, well, hey, if you watch any of the Amityville horror movies, you know incest is going to spring up at some point, so.
Heck
But
yeah.
tonight we're discussing the Scream franchise, and I just watched the sixth one, which we're going to get to later. But how do you feel about the Scream franchise, man?
Um, there's real good positives with it and some pretty big negatives. Because of what I go to horror for.
Mm-hmm.
Not horrors, but horror. And so that's kind of like, and we can get into that as well as because I have some strong feelings about the writer Kevin Williamson
Oh
and
yeah,
Wes Craven. Love him,
legend.
but yeah, can't wait to go through all the different parts about this movie. It is one of the most influential movies of our time because at the time, mid '90s when it came out. Horror was not in a good place, and from there it kind of springboarded back to life, whether I like it or not, but for a variety of reasons.
Oh,
So,
absolutely, man. So let's go ahead and break these movies down. We'll discuss them one by one, and we will get into like what they influenced and how they changed the world of horror and all that. So the world of horrors. So first up, we have the original, which to me, I consider it a classic. What about you?
now, I mean, the first Scream is a reflection back on what people loved most about movies like Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Friday the 13th, and trying to bring that back because Scream came out at a time that it was 96.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go back and you review the movies before the years before that, it takes you to 1987 when you can find a film where you go like that was a good movie, Witches of Eastwick in 87. Everything else other than that, it was floundering. And I almost feel like we're back in that time right now because it was a time where we were bogged down in sequels and
Yeah.
direct to DVD and just trying to like Hollywood has a tendency to find something really good and then just squeeze it until it's dead.
Yeah, it's like they
And
hyper focus on shit, and that's all we get, and then it kind of
yeah,
goes in a cycle too.
yeah, and we talked about it before. Is like Scream was the highest grossing film, um, slasher film up until 2018. I mean, so it's held that mark for 22 years. The film that replaced it was Halloween 2018. So
Yeah,
and then we started a new genre with it. But Scream itself, I mean, look at it. It's a tribute to past slasher films. Um,
in many
and
ways too, because like the plot
yeah,
is similar to a lot of the old school slasher films because it follows high school kids. There's a killer among them. It's a total whodunit. You're trying to figure out, like, is it the boyfriend? Is it the friend?
sure.
Is it the cops? Who the hell's killing everybody in this movie, man? Total whodunit and pulled off very well. That's what I love about the original, man. The whole time you're sitting there just trying to figure out who the hell the killer is. You're just as confused and concerned as the characters in the movie.
Yeah, and one of the greatest things too in a rewatch of the movie, especially when it came out, like
Mm-hmm.
when I first saw it, I didn't have the knowledge of horror films like I have now. Is oh my god, there's two killers.
Yeah.
What the hell just happened? I mean, it's like, oh what?
Yeah, that shit was mind blowing. We hadn't seen that in forever. Like,
Yeah,
but and like you said, man, it came at a time when horror really needed it. Like horror, like you said, like there was sequels and remakes and all this stuff, but horror had gotten like obsessed with technology.
Yep.
You know, maybe it was because of Terminator and sci-fi stuff like Alien or Aliens, like, you know, being the last or the previous somewhat horror related films that did well in the box office. Maybe that's why. But man, we were stuck in like, you know, Deadly Friend era, Evolver, you know, the original Terminator I would consider horror and stuff like that. So it was
Well,
really hyper focused on that.
well, think about it this way too. It's like, what are those movies really deep down? They're out of this world.
Yeah.
You got out of a stage where it wasn't real anymore. It was a sci-fi movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, shoot, man, Aliens, super scary. I remember seeing it in the theater and going like, man, I wish they'd turn the lights on because it's way too friggin' scary. You know, so I look at that time period is, you know, Scream saved horror during that time because it brought a large audience into something that they didn't have before. It was limited to you know, people reminiscing about horror and you know, like I said, sequels and everything like that. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, what they did, and you know, bear with me with the Kevin Williamson thing, but he's a romantic.
Yeah.
You know, he did Dawson's Creek. Thank you for that, Kevin Williamson. During my college years, you helped me a lot. As like an
Oh,
aphrodisiac to women during that time.
yeah.
And also Vampire Diaries. Gotta love everything that has to do with vampires. Can't deny it. And so Scream brought in a group of people, namely women, who could identify with these characters. They brought emotion and they brought drama to a whole genre where most of the time they're just paperboard cutouts of that run around naked and get
Mm-hmm.
stabbed and die. So
Yeah.
it yeah. And for me, you know, it's like I never looked at horror as something as, you know, I want to know about like what they ate for breakfast or who they care about in the movie. It's just like that person's an idiot. I hope they die.
Well, and that's another thing to think about too. And like, this is a topic that I'll probably cover on the podcast in the future. But not only was horror in a bad place in the 90s, especially by the mid 90s, but slasher films were in a really bad place, and I would still argue that they're still in a really bad place because the only slasher films we really get don't even take themselves seriously. And I'm not saying Scream like takes itself super serious, but they kind of do. It's like most now there's going to be like they're going to be a slasher film but with comedic elements,
Yeah.
like Hatchet or something like that would be a good example. And also they're going to be throwbacks typically. Like this is the one, you know, they're going to mimic something from the 80s rather than trying to be themselves.
Well, I mean, you run into the problem when you're trying to touch on reminiscence of the past and trying to go forward from there. Is, you know, slasher films have always had the problem of, well, how many different, you know, is the mask going to be different? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's, you know, or what's the reason behind it?
Yeah.
And that's why slasher films are hard to do, is because most people are like, I forget which Halloween it was where somebody's like, why don't they just shoot him? You know, it's just,
Yeah.
he's just walking around with a knife. I mean, it's not anything like, you know, scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a tough genre to break into and do that. But
Well, I will say, you know, if somebody can do it, you know, Wes Craven, whom is a master of horror, man. I mean, he
yeah,
revitalized that genre and the whole genre of horror. Like, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, Wes during that time too, he was done. He did not want to do another horror movie at that time, and that I think was the biggest important thing with looking at the Scream movies. Is if you look at his own movies, he even started to spoof his own movies with New Nightmare and I
yeah,
think People Under the Stairs, and he just, yeah, I read an article about he was just done with it.
yeah. I remember there was
Yeah.
wasn't there some sort of romance movie that was like his dream project that he never got to take on?
Dude, I have no idea, man. He just made
It's
me spit.
yeah, it seems like, I mean,
The
like,
Wes Craven romance movie, like if he did Titanic or something. I mean,
well, I'm saying like it seems like there was some sort of passion project he had. I think I read about, and just like actors get typecast, like you're gonna be the
no.
sexy chick in this movie, or you're gonna be the nerdy guy in this movie, and then it just carries on. Like he was typecast as a horror director, and that's basically all he could get. But
Yeah. I mean, it's probably why he got paired with Kevin Williamson. I mean, like I said, he's a romantic for sure. I mean, look at I mean, he did that movie I Know What You Did Last Summer.
yeah,
He
well,
did Cursed. It's just that they're all full of some sort of romance,
well,
It's just,
that's where I could see where somebody could come in theoretically and be like, wait a minute, guys. Scream didn't
yeah.
save horror; it fucking destroyed it, and here's why. And it's because we got like, I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. We got like I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is a Scream
Yep.
clone, and written by
Yep.
the same damn guy. And then you had like
Yep.
Urban Legends, which is a Scream clone.
Yep.
You had Cherry Falls, Scream. I mean, on and on and on.
Yeah.
And
Well, but here's the deal. Here's the deal with Scream. I mean, because I hate Kevin Williamson. I'm just gonna hate on him for the rest of my life. But the thing about it is, I just saw a comment. I blame Scream for H2O, and that I could never forgive Scream.
yeah,
What Scream did though is it brought money and a new audience to the marketplace. I mean, Scream, it revitalized a whole dead market. It brought people back into it, and within a few years, you got movies like The Blair Witch Project. You got Saw. Less than 10 years from that. I actually look at a progression from Scream to Paranormal Activity movies, Blair Witch, and then because you had a transition from very graphic and gory to you don't see much, it's found footage, and then you go to the extreme. Without that money, you don't get those films. I mean, that's the point of like the whole thing, and yeah.
Well, I mean, people were hungry for it because even the knockoffs, and we're talking blatant knockoffs. I mean, I Know What You Did Last Summer is blatant, and so is Urban Legends too. But all of those movies, even the knockoffs got sequels, and sequels that made it in theaters. Like they had a nice theatrical run.
That's true. I mean, see, the thing is, though, too, it's like people could identify with the people that they cast in these movies. I mean, you have Sarah Michelle Gellar, Jennifer Love Hewitt. You started drawing in an audience that was also involved with the teenage romances.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, for sure. I mean, like, when she showed up in one of the movies, it's like, oh, my God, this is going to be great.
Well, yeah, and that's a thing, too, man. Like, I think it speaks to like the self-awareness of Scream, but if you remember right, man, in Scream 2, Sarah Michelle Gellar is in it.
Yeah.
Who was also in I Know What You Did Last Summer, and in Scream 2 there was also Rebecca Gayheart, who was in Urban Legends.
Yeah.
So
it's that cross-pollination of incest that they just love in
yeah,
Hollywood.
I'm telling
they can't
you,
help
man.
themselves. Well, it's like I've told you before. I mean, it's just like for the people who are watching right now. It's like Dawson's Creek is basically, if Scream happened, but Dawson decided not to kill everybody. I mean, it's just like, I'm sure. Dawson wanted to kill Pacey for sleeping with every woman on that show, and Dawson's just kind of left on the outside pining after the girl who lives next door, who he's, Pacey's boning too. So
yeah, Dawson totally got cucked by a mighty duck, dude. Like,
dude, that's another guy you got to be jealous for until they hate his guts.
Fucking James Vanderbeek, man. Like, yeah. I guarantee you, he wasn't even happy in real life. Like, god damn it. I'm the Vanderbeek bro.
The last thing I remember about that guy is having his head on a mantle in a Kesha video with Blow.
Oh my god! The last thing I think I remember him in was like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back or something.
Yeah.
Dude, it's the Dawson.
No, for sure.
But yeah, man, so of course with the success of Scream, that franchise continued and we got Scream 2. And I'm just going to tell everyone right now, like, the plots for all of these movies are very repetitive. Like, Scream 2 is essentially the same as Scream 1, except now they're in college.
Yeah, I mean, the formula that they have for these movies is pretty obvious. I mean, you have them reflecting back. Like, Scream is reflecting back on the movies in the past. Scream 2 is reflecting back on sequels in the past. And, you know, I mean, Scream 2 for me, with Jamie Kennedy, his famous line for me is the way he says, "Fuck you." You know, it's like when somebody really aggravates me, it's like, dude, I'm dropping that flat out on you, and it's just happening. I can't, you know. And the cool thing they do in Scream 2, that's, to me, it just lends itself way too emotional for horror movies, because, like I said, when I watch a horror movie, I don't want emotion. I just want to sit back, enjoy, and watch stupid people do dumb things.
Yeah.
Is like Sydney in the first movie, virgin, breaks a rule, totally should die. You know, it's like they're totally ignoring the rules. She's and then in Scream 2, she lets her boyfriend die. You know, they give her a choice.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want to let your boyfriend die, or, you know, and she does, and she lets him die, and it's just like, dude, you just totally killed him. And it's just like so depressing, because he sang to her, you know, he totally loved her, you know, and it's just like, oh well.
Yeah. Well, fuck him. But yeah, the thing that, like, one of the problems I've had with the Scream franchise, man, and it's the acting of Neve Campbell. Like, I think, you know, in conjunction with maybe a bad script,
Yeah.
you know, maybe the way they had her written, it's like, this movie takes place 2 years after the events of Scream 1, and it's like, she has not grown as a freaking person at all, man. You know, that, like, okay, so, for instance, like with Halloween 1 and 2, and I'm talking the originals here, like, 2 takes place the same damn night. So we don't expect Jamie Lee Curtis to grow at all. Like, yes, she is going to try and survive by running. That's all she can do. That's all she's prepared to do. But with Scream, it's like, dude, you were freaking attacked by your boyfriend and his best friend, whatever. Like, you have been betrayed on so many levels here. And by the time Scream 2 rolls around 2 years later, she's in a relationship with another dude already. It's like, that shit doesn't make sense, man. That wouldn't cut it. I can see maybe 10 years down the line, you know, she's going to have to deal with some shit.
Yeah, like in Scream 2, they probably should have had it that he was trying to win her over. Like,
yeah, there you go.
Like through 3/4 of the movie, and then finally she gives in. Finally, it, like the same thing in the first movie. Like, she finally gives it up. Like she totally did in the first movie. You know, it's like I think of the spoof movies where you know, the girl gets blown up onto the top of the ceiling.
Oh, good
with
God!
A bunch of semen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bobby couldn't hold it anymore.
Yeah, it's just like blammo. Sorry. But, you know, I mean, I look at it and I go, yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, it's like she's moved on super fast, totally embraced this, but then ultimately they flip it back over and say, no, she's not really over it. You know, Billy Loomis is still in her head. She's gonna think that this guy's a bad guy. It's like, really?
Well, and that's like the other part of it too, man, is like, if this shit happened to you, my problem is, you know, Sydney survives all the damn movies. Like, she's in the newest one.
Yeah.
But she has adopted no survival skills. In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they address that sort of in the third movie, and in fact, they try and show some sort of progression for her, is that she's become a recluse in the third movie. You know, it's like she's locked up. She would never leave her front door unlocked. She doesn't even have a job outside. She's But then by the end of the movie, the gates open and she's free, and whatever, because she's married. What the heck that guy's name is? Everybody calls him like McDreamy or some crap like that.
But
that bastard who has hair.
Fucking prick. But yeah, man. So that's my problems with the second. And another thing, well, a couple other things. Like, I don't think maybe she's not a capable enough actress of delivering different emotions, because if that's one thing too. Like, if you watch other Neve Campbell movies, like The Craft would be a good one, man. If you watch The Craft and then watch Scream 1, it's the same character, really. Like, she acts both the same, and
her deal is she tries to draw sympathy from the audience. She's a sympathetic character. I mean, it's like you mentioned The Craft. It's like she has a skin condition from burns, and and everybody feels sorry for her, and I think that's her niche.
Yeah, that's her shtick.
You feel bad for her.
Yeah, so. and then another thing though, like and this could be a problem with the writing too, is the first Scream, it kept like making you think it was Billy, it's her boyfriend, and then you'd be like, wait a minute, no, it can't be Billy. Wait,
can't be Billy. He loves her.
It's fucking Billy. I knew it was Billy. That's not, like, it plays with your emotions, the first one. By the second one, man, like, there's no main suspect really, and they try to do some cheap shit by making you think, well, maybe it's Cotton Weary, and they have like some weird play out with him, but it's like, and who it turns out to be, they just fucking remove them from like the second half of the movie, so you've forgotten about them, and that's the only way they can surprise you at the end when, like, wait a minute.
Yeah, the second one really irritates me in the fact that you have one character who's totally unrelated to all of them, and then you have another character who's the mom, which somebody said, hey, let's have the mom do it, because in Friday the 13th, the first one, let's do it. Let's. I just saw somebody pop up Wild Things.
Hey, man, hashtag Wild Things.
You can't be friggin' throwing Wild Things on there. I'll be starting to talk about both of them, the three-way in there. Yeah, man, stop that.
Derek from Coronation, shout out on that one.
I will tell you. I'll tell you this though. Neve did not show her boobs in that movie.
But I wasn't disappointed that she didn't. For some reason, I'm not a Neve Campbell fan for some reason. Maybe I saw these movies when I was a kid, and maybe that just carried on, like, I don't like you, and that's
so thank you for the Wild Things thing. This is actually one of the things, as being a young guy watching Scream for the first time and not liking Scream. So previous slasher films did have nudity. If you look at Scream 1, no nudity.
Except for MPJ Souls' scene. And didn't they show... Did they... When he's watching Halloween?
I mean...
I think it shows their reaction, but it doesn't show what happened.
No, it does. It shows their reaction. But yeah, there's no nudity in the movie whatsoever.
Yeah.
And what's depressing about that is Rose McGowan's always wearing these tightest tops ever. And, later on, you see what she's gone through. God bless her. I mean, with that Weinstein piece of shit. But I mean,
well, I think you mentioned that, like, because Weinstein owned Miramax at that time, and she ended up in that role for a Miramax film, and Weinstein, and she's one of the people who came out against Weinstein.
Yep.
So that may have happened during that film.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, that's exactly what happens to girls in. Gosh, we're all getting all serious and shit, but that's what happens to girls in Hollywood. I mean, they address it too. It's weird. It's really weird. They address it in the third movie. I mean,
So before we move on to the third, though, wasn't there something like the script got leaked for the second?
Yeah. Scream 2, the script got leaked. They had to change a lot of different scenes. Williamson had to write scripts and scenes the day of shooting, and then on top of that, for the paper that they would use, it was paper you couldn't photocopy.
Yeah.
So Yeah, there you go. Some more useless information
Yeah.
from Necro.
Well, here's another thing though, man. Just real quickly, we'll see if you agree with this dude. But you've mentioned Dawson's Creek, which I have limited experience with. Like,
It's because you're so young.
well, but
I was 21 when it came out, man. So, dude, it was every college girl's fantasy of like, hey, I wonder what's going on with Pacey this week.
Oh God, that's just fucking weird. But Joshua Jackson, Jesus Christ. But
Yeah, bastard.
So I mean, you have Kevin Williamson, the writer of the Scream films, I guess. He wrote Dawson's Creek as well, and like this is something that's true for everything he's ever written, man. Is it just me, or does this fucking dude have a problem with dialogue? Like, he wants to make, like, because Dawson's Creek follows, like, high school teenagers, like 14-year-old freshmen. These motherfuckers speak on a college level.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, they did that. They did that in 90210 too. I mean, it's like most of the people that were in 90210 were in their 20s at that time, and you know, it's like they want to show people like, well, this is how 14-year-olds talk. It's like, man, no, it's not how we talk. We cuss a lot. We cuss a lot more, and we don't know anything.
Yeah, man. That super took me out of, like, I'm watching Dawson's Creek. Just to get an idea of what the fuck it was about. Like, this is a few years ago. And I see Katie Holmes, supposed to be 14 years old and all this, and she refers to someone as being persnickety.
Oh, hey, somebody just said a theater scene extra leaked the script. Yeah, man, no doubt. I saw the 53 comment. I'm a slim 44. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sucking in for sure on this video for all the people.
Hell yeah, man. So, but yeah, dude, I just, his dialogue can really take you out of they're like, did they really just use that word?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially in Dawson's Creek, he was very focused on the fact that Dawson was so learned and a Spielberg fan, and and wooing people and everything else like that. But hey, it worked for me, man. I just, whatever. I mean, it's just like, hey, I'll watch Vampire Diaries because I watch anything with vampires, but hey, come at me. It's
no shit, huh?
If it works for who I'm watching it with, that's all that matters.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that could be, but, in all fairness, that could have been part of the problem. Some of the issues with Scream 2 was, man, the fucking script was leaked and they had to do rewrites, like, on the set. So,
yeah. And they filmed it. They filmed it in 3 or 4 different spots too, and it probably was the biggest pain in the ass because Scream leans so heavy on who is the killer at the end. And the fact that they leaked the killers before, that's a problem.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
and yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's what's disappointing about it is I remember when it came out and heard that it was leaked. I mean, I even went through a stage where I didn't even watch trailers because I didn't want to have things ruined for me.
Sometimes that's the best way to go into stuff, man, just totally blind.
Totally blind.
I have certainly come across some surprises that way. All right, so now moving along to Scream 3, because Scream 2 was a huge success as well. So Scream 3 is essentially the same story as the other 2 previous films. It follows Sidney Prescott once again, but this time the focus is more on the Stab movies, which are the fictional films within the Scream series that are based off of the Woodsboro killings.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so now you have Hollywood is trying to make a sequel to Stab, and the killer sort of like has the script from that movie, and he's killing people in the order that they die in the fictional film.
God forbid they give away like who the guy could be in that movie. And and Scream 3, so both Scream 2 and 3 were actually pitched at the same time as Scream 1. Mm-hmm. So you have a situation where a guy kind of Lucas the whole thing out, like George Lucas when he did Star Wars was pitching multiple movies at one time, and they told him pick one. So for the Scream movies, 2 and 3 were part of the deal for Scream 1. And once Scream 1 was a success, 2 and 3 were greenlit to go forward. And then you have with Scream 3, you have a situation where they're now analyzing trilogies.
Yeah.
And it's like it could be anybody. And if you thought the past was dead, then
it's not.
You're wrong. It's not. It's coming to get you. The past is coming back to get you, and it's just like the Emperor is going to show up at the end of the movie, revealing himself. It's just so.
Yeah, so, and just real quick to let you all know that are, in here watching this, man, totally appreciate every single one of y'all coming in. Love it. I know we're giving you guys a little bit of attention right now whenever we can, but if you stick around till the end, we'll make sure to hit the comments and say hi to everybody. So please do not feel left out. We see you. It's just we're ignoring you, man. But no, we will get to you, my friends. Yeah, Scream 3, man, definitely a different route there. Sydney's all grown up now, live all about that Hollywood life. We even have Lance Henriksen in this bad boy now.
Oh yeah,
playing.
He has to show up in every odd movie. I think he had one movie where he was the lead character. It was like Pumpkinhead.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. So Lance gets some love in this one, and. Yes, so everything they say really does come true. Like, the past does come back, but shit, man, it was a past Sydney wasn't even aware of, really.
Yeah, she's like, I have a brother?
Yeah, who the fuck?
I mean, at least she didn't get her hand cut off in the second movie and then, find out that somebody was her father. I mean, it's just that wasn't her father.
Yeah, I will say, I will give him credit, though, man. On Scream 2, you could, you could have an idea of who the killer might be. Scream 3, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That fucking guy.
Yeah. And they threw you off, too, in the fact that Scream 3 is the only one of the Scream movies where only one guy did it.
Yeah.
Every other movie... The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, outside of 3, it's 2 people.
Yeah,
Scream 3 is the only where it's one guy.
Yeah, totally refreshing, man. You just, I'll never forget that shit, man. Definitely one of the more surprising reveals, and I don't know why they didn't go with the singular killer route more often, because. The 2-person route, that's shit's rare. Even in serial killers.
Yeah, when we get to the Scream 6 possible plot thing, where we're guessing is what's going to happen after 5, which we just saw. I have a suspicion about what's going to happen. It's really silly, but we'll wait till we get there. So
okay. So yeah, man, there's just not much to go on with 3. It's definitely the redheaded stepchild of the original trilogy, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they're hitting trilogies right there and trying to fit it. It's like they tried with each movie to fit it into the box. Okay, this is a trilogy movie. We're going to fit it into the box. I mean, they even have Randy show back up dead.
Yeah.
On a tape.
Which is ahead of its time, because imagine if that took place now, people would be like, well, man, maybe Steve left us clues on his YouTube. We can go back and see what he says about trilogies. Nah.
Yeah, he's so forward thinking. That's why I love Randy so much. Yeah. I mean, there's even a scene in Scream 2 where I'm like, you go, man, where he hits the Banaka stuff, thinking that he's gonna be the hero and woo Sydney over. And you just know he's going to die. So every nerd is rooting for Randy. And of course he has to die just the most cruel death ever.
Oh, of course, man. Of course. He gets it bad, dude.
Yeah.
Dude gets
Poor guy.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So Scream 3, though, I mean, yeah, least talked about, least popular. It's not a fan favorite or anything like that.
Yeah.
But, I will say, Scream 1 is definitely the best out of all of them. 2 and 3 are about the same for me, really, rating-wise. They're good enough, I'll say. They're not the best, not the worst.
Well, I mean, Scream 3 also just kind of piled on like that Sydney's mom's a whore. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's like, okay, we got into Scream 1, Sydney's mom's a whore. We're really upset that Sydney's mom is a whore. And then
Yeah.
Scream 2 is the mom's pissed off that Sydney's mom's a whore.
Yeah.
Then in Scream 3, she's such a whore that she put out all these other dudes and made a kid who's obsessed with just, you know, doing whatever he wants to do because his mom's a whore. I'm like, okay, can we leave her mother alone? I mean,
Yeah, damn.
The Sydney liked her.
Yeah,
she couldn't have been that bad.
Yeah, man, they were all over it in that one, dude. But I guess you could say Roman got final cut.
Yeah, he got the final.
That's my lame attempt at a joke there. Director's joke. Damn it.
Yep. And he did pop back up at the end, too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did, which is a fucking major problem I have with Scream 5, which we'll get into.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, you know what the hell I'm talking about, but...
I just want to skip over Scream 5. But
oh, me too, man. Me too,
yeah.
But, you know, so then we go... Okay, so after Scream 3, which killed the whole fucking franchise there for... that was the final cut of the damn series there for, God, 10 years?
I mean, Scream 3 was the happy ending we all wanted for Sydney because she was the sympathetic character, but
Sydney
nope.
and Dewey.
Yeah, Sydney and Dewey. Dewey got the happy ending with Gail.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. And what's funny about those two being together, too, in real life is, you know, his drug problems and...
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
And no more happy endings. After Scream 3, there's no happy endings.
Yeah, it turns out David Arquette isn't the guy we knew and loved in Ready to Rumble and the Scream movies, you know. He's going on benders and shit, baby. But
hanging out with him in Vegas.
Yeah,
Sorry, Courtney.
Yeah.
Sorry, Courtney
shit.
Cox. I just had to pull him along for that one time. I didn't mean it.
Yeah, shit, man. Yeah, and then we go into Scream 4, which I think it was something like 10 years later. I'm not totally positive when that came out, but
yeah,
it was down the road. It was after that series was done, and they were like, "The fuck could we do to make some money real quick here?"
Yeah, I think it was like 15 years or some crap like that.
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah,
but yeah. So, once again.
Once again, Sydney's in trouble.
Yeah, Sydney. Yeah, damn. Doesn't she have the worst luck in the fucking world, man? Like, good God, man.
She's like someone interrupted on the toilet. Somebody put 11 years. Yeah. I mean, it's just like she's been interrupted on the toilet. She's been trying to go forever, and it's just like, I wanted to be done. Could I be done? Could somebody leave me alone?
Yeah, shit, man. I just wonder, like, in any of the original slashers, you know, Halloween, Friday 13th, whatever, if, like, they had that consecutive protagonist, if at one point, like, you know, Alice from Friday the 13th is, like, 4 movies deep and just like, fuck it, kill me.
Yeah. Like, I think Jamie Lee, when she was in Resurrection, I think she demanded that they killed her.
Oh, yeah, she did, absolutely. Yep. She's like, I can't, like, you know, you guys don't have enough money to keep doing this shit.
Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, man. So, Scream 4, Sydney comes back home or whatever and reconnects with some family members, and the killings start up again when she returns home, and it's very similar.
She's kept there because of that.
Yeah,
that's the whole excuse. Is she's doing like a book thing, and like so these killings she's a suspect. She can't leave.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Sure.
Like what the fuck?
She's finally turned the switch. It's over. She's murdering everybody.
Yeah, like, yeah. So Scream 4, man. You know, she's there. And it's very similar to the plot of Scream 5, where, like, it's a whole new cast of teens and shit, and this stuff is going on in their school, and Sydney's tossed in, and she's helping, she's being attacked again, and Dragon Blues brings up a damn good point here. Could you imagine if this type of thing happened to anyone who happened to escape / survive a real serial killer? just haunted by copycats for the rest of their... That's what I'm saying. Eventually, you would have to be like, fuck it, I'm done. Like,
Yeah, I'm
I've
out.
had 2 boyfriends that have died on me. All my fucking friends have flipped out, tried to kill me. Like, I can't trust it. I'm moving to Italy.
Yeah, and the first boyfriend I did have, I fucked and lost my virginity to, and he was the bad guy.
Yeah, shit. You would never... Like, this is fucked up, and I'm sure real victims feel that, man, you would never wash that shit off of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, this would be like
moved to some island.
This would be like if one of us dipped in the Jodi Arias pond.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so Scream 4 to me came across as like Diary of the Dead for Romero.
it was
where it's
updated.
It's trying to I mean they brought modern technology into it of recording the deaths, and I think Romero did it better when he was making the point of like, things are going really bad. Why are you filming this? Why aren't you helping the person?
Yeah.
It's just like,
yeah.
why are you? It's like, oh, I gotta video this. I've got to get my likes. You know, It's just.
In one cool thing, like, at least they tried to incorporate technology, because it's like being from West Virginia, I can tell you, like, it is totally realistic. I don't have fucking cell phone service at my house right now as we're talking. This is 2022. I don't have service here, man. But so I know I'm the exception, because everywhere else I go out of state has service. So, like, it's a horror movie trope where people magically don't have cell service. So I give them props for trying to include technology and stuff like that. That's got to be tough.
Well, they did that in the new Blair Witch too, with like
the drone,
the drones, yeah.
But I will say though, like, it does serve to date certain movies. Like, they can't be as timeless, because like, you're going to see somebody pull out a damn Razor flip phone and be like, damn.
Oh yeah, like trying to rewatch The Matrix or something like that. Oh my gosh, I just got paged. It was like, what are you, a doctor or something? You just got paged. I gotta call this person back. And it's like everybody, when I was growing up as a teenager, had a pager. It's like it was our way of like star 69 pound. How do I make this clear what I'm trying to get across to everybody?
Dude, I knew one dude in school that had a pager. One dude, and like, he never could show me how the son of a bitch worked, because I don't know if they worked. I don't know if they worked on like sort of like cell service or what. But who the fuck uses? Nobody had a pager.
Yeah. Oh, look at. Yeah, Vander. We know you had a pager, man. You and me, man. We had a pager. There's times I wish I had kept it on as late at night as I wish I had. Getting that call like, hey, I paged you last night. Like,
oh, God. Booty calls in the 90s, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
But, and I will say, let's see here, Derek from Coronation, AB. I'm totally not trashing on Scream 4 here, because I consider this as part of, the what I was talking about, 2 and 3. Scream 4 is like decent to me. Like, it's good enough. Like, it's not, it wasn't like, it's not the best, it ain't the worst, but so to give you all an idea, I would rate like the original Scream on the spot. So, this may change with more thought, may go up a little, but I'd give it like an 8. 2 and 3 and 4, I'm at like a 6. I'm in the 6-ish range, so I'm not trashing on any of them, really. I don't know. What about you, Necro? Where are you at on that?
I hated 3. I hated it so much. It's to me, it's the least rewatchable one of all of them, because it feels so forced. It feels like we have to do the third movie because we greenlit it, and let's just make it work. And it felt like, it's like they tried to make it very emotional for Sydney and her half brother. And it was like, I could care less. Like, whatever. I mean,
Well,
finally we get to a point where in horror movies, like, I could care less. I don't have no attachment to these people.
Yeah.
And Scream 4 kind of brought that back a little bit of where you actually cared. It's like you have a girl that finally gives a crap about a guy at the end. I think that was our cheerleader girl was Hayden
Panettiere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that part of the movie was kind of sad. And, it's like this guy finally had a chance with this girl and he's going to stab her.
Oh.
And yeah, it's kind of heart wrenching. It's like, dude, you had a chance. And in fact, you got it, but no, you're gonna follow through with being the asshole.
Well, it's the same thing as the original, man. Poor Sydney. She gave it up, but it was all in vain.
Late.
But too late. But I think where I'm at with 3 and why I can rate it at a 6. Like, there's some movies I can tell you, dude, it's a bad fucking movie, but I like it. Like, I don't know if Scream 3 really is, but I feel like it gets brownie points for me because they're trying to make a film during it. And, like, I'm a total film nerd and love watching shit like that and that whole thing. So I think that's one reason why I like it enough to give it a 6. It's like, cool. Yeah. They're trying to make a movie. I make my girlfriend watch documentaries on movie making and shit like once a year. She tries to argue with me that one's terrible and depressing, and I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I have those ones too. I love Fulci's Zombie.
Oh yeah, good movie.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like this is a bad movie. I mean, they did some guerrilla filming where they had no permits and they're shooting it, and it's just there's some parts where the girl's frozen.
Well, I would actually
10 minutes, and the zombie's still coming in to get her. It's like, dude, just run, move, something. No.
Well, to be fair, that is a valid flight response is to freeze. So, Fulci could argue that.
Dude, I don't
know
think
what you're saying.
I don't think that flight response exists in the South, in South Carolina. So, our flight response is, I gotta go to get my gun. I'll be right back.
Oh, for sure, it's game over. Yeah.
But
so Scream 4, man, I'm I like that one. All right, that was for you. You're probably saying like Scream 4 was an upswing.
Scream 4 was an upswing from 3. 2 to me was just exemplified the things that I don't like about the Scream franchise with actually giving a crap.
Yeah.
Randy dying was just my heart, Randy.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, this is not what I want to see in a horror movie. This is a drama or a tragedy. And it's funny, too. They actually address it in that movie with the acting school and the Sydney thing with the face mask and it's the tragedy. And I don't want to see that in horror movies. I want to go. I mean, I put horror in a genre of where imagine you're walking up a stairs. There's a doorway. You hear something bad, and you're not supposed to go in there. But in a horror movie, the idiot goes upstairs, opens the door, and starts saying, "Hello, hello," and it's just like, dude, you're so gonna die. Why did you just go up the stairs and do that? And that to me is lost in the Scream franchise. To me, Scream breaks the barrier between horror and drama too much. I know a lot. I know too much about Scream, but it's one of those things where that's the genre pulling in part. That's where they get the multiple audiences. That's where they get the emotion and everything else. And I don't look for that in horror movies. I like Halloween. I like the first one a lot.
Yeah.
I grew up in California, so I can I love the atmosphere and everything else that goes along with it. And going, that's not Illinois in the winter. That's Pasadena.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but are we really even going to talk about 5? Or can we
we have to because I guarantee you that's why a lot of them even clicked on this shit. They're like, oh my god.
The only reason Yeah, the only reason I talk about 5 is to tell you about the theory for 6 and 7.
Oh my god, yeah. So
And,
Scream. Go
and if it
ahead.
comes true though, I need like I want somebody to mail me like a dollar bill or something because man, if it happens, I swear to God.
So okay, so Scream 5, like, which just came out. It's on Paramount Plus. You can buy it on DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, whatever the hell you want. So murders spring back up in Woodsboro. And it draws. So this woman's sister is attacked. She's one of the victims and she survives. So the older sister comes in to check on her. And this leads to her getting in contact with Dewey, who is now retired from being sheriff of Woodsboro. Yeah, he's retired from life. He lives in a trailer now. He's like fucking Jimmy the King and Ready to Rumble. So, pretty ironic there. But he, they try to get him to help them. And he ends up contacting like Sydney and Gail and all this, telling them that the murders have sprung back up, and this draws all them back into Woodsboro. So that's how we get our legacy characters involved, and it's pretty much like the plot of Scream 4 again, because it's the surviving victim was a high school kid, and her group of friends are now being picked off one by one by Ghostface. And you're just trying to figure out who the hell it is the whole movie.
You're trying to figure out who Dawson is in this scenario of where he's finally gone psycho and wanting to kill people. I mean, the funny thing is, in watching Scream 5, I had picked out both of the killers within like the first time they were revealed. That guy did it and she did it. Damn. And especially since the guy who I was like, you did it. Oh, okay. So number 2 is, and then he tells her, oh, you're the killer. And she's just like, it's a frozen screen on her face. And but you just told everybody I'm the killer. And it's like, yeah, no shit. You're the killer.
Oh,
we got it.
Well, dude, it's very, I don't want to give any spoilers away really, in case, with it being so new.
Yeah.
But it's
or
like,
do we?
Or do we? Yeah, fuck it. Like, if you haven't seen it by now, I'd be surprised. It did so well that a sequel's already been greenlit.
Well, the fact that Billy Loomis is the new Obi-Wan Kenobi, I just have a problem with, like, I sat there watching, is he a good guy now? Because I didn't think he was a good guy. But apparently in this movie, he's a good guy.
Well, that was one of the topics. Like, if you watch the first Talk Horror live episode, like, Briggs and I discussed where horror came from, where it's at now, and where we think it'll go. And one of the problems we discussed was that, like, sometimes they take characters and try to force sympathy for them. So now you're kind of like, fucking force sympathy for Billy Loomis? Yeah. 4 movies later?
Or his daughter.
Whatever. Yeah, or his daughter. It's like, so now Billy Loomis was like a sympathetic character. Okay. But, yeah, man, there's so many problems with it. The acting is god-awful. Like, watching the older sister try and fucking cry while she's talking to the younger sister in that hospital was horrendous.
Hold on, I'm going to do it too. Can't pull it off.
Yeah, and then it does like a quick cutaway, and then there's a tear.
Wait. Hold on. I have some water here. Hold on. I got this.
Yeah, just make sure you cover your camera right now, and then when it comes back, you're just crying.
And that's why I never learned how to read. It's like... Yeah, it's just Mike Myers with his, freaking Wayne's World like promo on it. It's like, yeah, that's what happened right there.
Dude, the acting was god awful. The plot is repetitive as shit, like redundant. The characters were terrible. I didn't give a shit about any of them. You know, and the way they tried to turn you off to who the killers were some cheap shit. I mean, when Dewey gets killed, and we know who he gets killed by, this motherfucker gets picked up off the ground by that person.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, hell, we may as well say who it is now. They know Dewey dies. It was the fucking, 90-pound female.
Yeah. Dude, she's infused with rage.
She's a fucking TRT or something.
Yeah. I don't want to run into her on a dark and stormy night.
Well, I mean that, man, and then, but what leads up to his death is even worse, because he shot this person, number one, in the chest 5 times. Yeah. They fall down. He escorts the other survivors to the elevator, puts them in, and is like, I gotta go back. Sends them down. He's like, I gotta shoot him in the head. That's the only... Motherfucker, we've seen that since the first.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, it's a huge flaw in the whole movie. I mean, in thinking about, had a discussion, maybe it was with you or Dragon Blues about the movie, is that he's not the one who should have died. In fact, it would have been more dramatic for him to actually live.
Absolutely.
And to, because the sheriff in the movie does get killed, is that he actually comes full circle and comes out of his depression or negativity or whatever the hell's going on with him.
Yeah.
And he becomes the sheriff again. Out of respect for Gail, because she died and he avenges her, but she lives. So because
all right, James, here's one for you. I gotta fucking read this one right now. Derek from Coronation says, truth is, I can't even watch Scream 5 from start to finish. I can't. I'd rather watch Scream Resurrection.
Oh my god, I just snorted. Wow, man! I swear to God, if Busta Rhymes had showed up in this movie, it would have been appropriate.
Yeah,
I mean, it would have been awesome. It's just like, please show up in this movie. I mean, you have Sydney at the beginning pushing her kid in a stroller, and I was reminded, she had 2 other kids too. There's no friggin' way that she'd go back to this town. I mean, she's a mom with 3 kids at this point. No, she's with McDreamy. She's rather fantasizing about, I got to get home, and McDreamy's really horny for me right now. I got to take care of that.
I'll handle that shit. I'm out.
Yeah, it's just, there's no way. Why would she do that?
But man, I totally agree with you, and I'm going to ask you this, man. Which was worse? The terrible acting of the older sister trying to cry, or the fucking non-acting when Gail and Sydney find out Dewey's dead? They just said,
he's dead. And get the water back out. Dewey's dead.
They're like, well, Dewey's dead. That shit sucked. Now I'm going to work on that book I always thought about. Let's make this shit about me. I'm going to do it for the Dewster.
To Dewey. For Dewey.
Yeah, for Dewey. Like, they tried to shoehorn that shit in at the end, like, for Wes. My ass!
I swear, too, in this one, his limp came back. Because I think in 4, it kind of disappeared. He didn't have that gimpy walk he had. But then all of a sudden, in Scream 5, he's back with, I can't move my arm. It's like we're watching Scary Movie. It's like he's doofus.
It's like he had... he fucking strengthened it back up during 4, but by 5 in a terrible jerk-off incident, he just re-injured it, I guess. I don't know.
So here you go, trivia fans. Scream was originally supposed to be called Scary Movie.
Yeah. Dude, that's a question. That's one I've always wondered, because for me, it has affected it. And I, told my lady when we watched Scream not too long ago, I was like, this fucking movie has somewhat been ruined for me by Scary Movie, because the whole time you watch Scream now, all you can do is think of the Scary Movie spoofs.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not saying that takes away from it and lowers my rating on it, but holy shit.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so since we're coming up on an hour here with you guys in regards to Scream 5, so the fact that Billy Loomis's kid is now in touch with Billy Loomis on the other side because he's Obi-Wan Kenobi, that makes her Luke Skywalker. So somewhere, or Darth Vader, I haven't figured it out yet, but in Scream 6, she's gonna have to go dark side and maybe kill Gale. But then in Scream
Ooh.
7, Sydney's gonna bring her back to the light, maybe as she's getting killed. I don't know, but I kind of want to see someone's hand cut off and go, oh, and I was your mother, or I was your dad. Just like at the end of the movie. Oh, Sydney was the mom? How did we not know that Sydney was the mom? Maybe it's just some crap. Like,
oh my God, yeah, she got pregnant that one night with Billy.
Yeah, I never wanted to admit to it because and then they're going to say, well, that's why there was the 2-year skip between Scream 1 and Scream 2 is so she could give birth to Billy's kid, and that's her daughter.
I'm telling you, if that happens, not only will I mail you a dollar, I will take a shit on live stream.
Dude, that might actually happen. So
I'll have to.
This movie's been greenlit, so it will be next year.
Some dickhead out there right now is like, that's a fucking oral contract, Steve. If this happens,
you got to do that. It's been recorded. Yeah.
No, man, if that happens, though, that might be the end of me. Like, that might be a chest-clutching moment, and I just fall to the ground, and that's a wrap.
Well, supposedly they've already greenlit the next 2 movies, so it's gonna revolve around her and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Darth Vader will show up.
Yeah. I mean, that's what. Yeah, man. Jesus, I don't know where it will go exactly, but
Kylo Ren might show up, though. I haven't seen Kylo Ren show up, so we don't know who Kylo Ren is going to be in the next movie. And at the 3rd movie, they'll kiss and bring balance to the Force.
Oh my god! Oh my god, dude!
Yep, it's going to happen. You just watch Scream. It'll be Scream 7, The Return of Kylo Ren.
Yeah, so this is, Dragon Blues says this, and well, Trav Zimmerman says this. I didn't understand how Skeet Depp was the father of that girl in the most recent Scream flick. Wasn't Skeet killed when he was 17?
Hey, man, some guys get around.
Yeah, apparently there was a fox in the old hen house there, Trav.
I mean, they explain it away as that, like,
there's another girl or something, right?
There's another girl, and this guy marries her even though she's pregnant, and But Dragon Blues brings up something that I was wondering too. You're like, yes, who the hell is her mom, and where is she the whole movie? That's what I was wondering. I was like, your teenage daughter is stabbed, and her leg got fucking shattered. Like, I mean, that they're gonna save it for the sequel again. I swear to God, if the mom ends up being the bad guy in the next movie, and maybe that's what it is. It's a reverse Empire Strikes Back. So she is going to fight against her mother in like some pitched battle at the end, for love, of all these people, and get her hand cut off, and then fight her again to win the Emperor's love.
Who knows, man? I couldn't have predicted this shitty movie. Like, this is the best y'all came back with, and there for a while, man, it was rated high as hell on IMDb. It was like consistently a 7.5, 7.8.
Dude, that's why they hire other people from other countries to rate it as highly as they possibly can.
I was like, and then I watched it, and I'm like, man, to put a rating on Scream 5, I'm at a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
It was rough for me.
Yep. I tried to like it because I think we're just in this lull of horror. They don't know what to do. So they're in the phase of rebooting, recycling. Yeah. You have that with Halloween. Well, we're going to ignore all the other movies, but we're going to do a direct sequel of the first movie. And I mean, if you're going to do that, can I get a sequel to Aliens where Newt and Michael Biehn don't die in Alien 3? Can I get an Alien 3? Yeah. If you're going to do this, like, stop leaving me out in the lurch. Don't do all these other movies. I want to see that movie.
Yeah. Like one worth a fuck, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, but you know what? Usually out of these phases, we'll get somebody who's really creative. Maybe you. to come up with the next genre for it. But as long as there's money out there, they're gonna keep doing it. So.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. I don't know where it'll go, but we have not seen the end of Skeet Ulrich, his daughter, and Sydney, and because I know, I think I read that when they approached Sydney and Courtney Cox about this, that they said that they would be open for sequels, and so they're coming back.
I mean, they picked them right though. It's like, what else are they doing? It's not like they're Dwayne the Rock Johnson, where it's like, yeah, I ain't doing that movie.
Yeah, that was because I know that's one reason it took forever for Scream 4 to happen, is because like Nev Campbell was just like, no, I'm not coming back to that, and I was like, well, what the fuck else is Nev Campbell doing?
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought that Scream 4 didn't happen for as long as it did, but it was because of David Arquette and Courtney Cox just not wanting to be around each other. But I don't know. I didn't look into it enough. I was like, yeah, it's Scream 4.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so I guess we have surpassed our hour mark. We can look over some comments now and see if any stick out. First of all, I'll say Chris. Hello, Chris Harris, Trav Zimmerman, Mogi, what's up, dude? Sarah, what's going on? Mr. Spreadsheets, what's up, dude? And
those are the wonderful people that I hang out with and have the best times of my day.
Well, yeah, man. Mad shout out to everybody who made it in for sure. Let's see, man. Any good comments here? Backdoor Banger says he watched the thing and then stumbled across my 10 facts video about the thing, and that's how he made it here. Thanks, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing we should talk about some night is John Carpenter movies.
Oh, man.
And when he finally jumped the shark and said, dude, I ain't going to make any more good movies, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, he totally did. I mean, there for a while, he had a lot of integrity. He's like, no, I'm not doing that shit. It sucks. Yeah. Find somebody the fuck else. And then he was like, screw it.
Yeah, he was a big no sequel guy. He had a few movies where they were like he considered part of his trilogy of like the apocalyptic things, like Mouth of Madness, The Thing, and there was one other one I can't remember.
The one with Donald Pleasance, where he's that priest.
Prince of Darkness.
Prince of Darkness. Yep. There you go.
Yep. And that was kind of like his, like, this is as close to like interconnected movies that we're gonna have or similar type. But yeah, he didn't do it. Yep. Yeah. And then he's like, nah, screw it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Escape from LA, which he admitted to was like just the script from Escape from New York, and they just changed it around a little bit.
Man, Vanderhoff says he lives 45 minutes from the real Crystal Lake, where Friday the 13th was filmed in New Jersey. I actually had a plan to go there this year. It got canceled. But when I make that happen, man, you're going to have to show me around if you know all those locations. That'd be sweet. And if you haven't, you need to check out my Evil Dead filming locations video.
That's a great one.
Oh, dude, so much fun. So much fun. Yeah. I love checking out filming locations. When you said Pasadena, man, I went to the Michael Myers house, and I went to the Nancy Loomis's house and Glenn's house from A Nightmare on Elm Street, because it's very close.
Now, I think with the Michael Myers house, it's the same house, but they
got moved.
It got moved. Yeah. It's not the same location, but they moved it. But yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like a dentist or an insurance office or something now. I can't remember, but
yeah, I don't know. I love that movie so much, and knowing, I mean, like I got into like even knowing what the filters they used for daytime and nighttime, and that the fact that one of the Blu-ray cuts takes the filters out. It was just that's how silly I've gotten with Halloween. So
let's see.
And Vanderhoff's been there 4 times.
Oh shit. What a stud.
Oh, wait. Look at Moji down here. Check this out.
Emoji, my son went to daycare in the Conjuring house. Holy shit. That raises a lot of questions.
What's funny about that is you probably knew it was the Conjuring house and dropped him off anyways and say grow stronger.
Yeah. Yeah. Go forth and prosper, dude.
Yeah. Yep. Don't let us down.
Yeah, I think, he says it's a true story, he or she. But
it's a he.
Oh, okay. So I do think, like, originally, like, the people who owned the actual house, people were trying to come there all the time, and those people were like, dude, we live here. Leave us the fuck alone. Like,
go away.
But now, like, they've totally just bought it. They're like, screw it. We'll do tours and all kinds of shit. Like, I think they've accepted. It's kind of like the Amityville house, man. Like, the people who bought that were like, we don't want shit to do with this. And
oh, shoot, they could make so much money off of just tours.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the Amityville people had a real problem with people just showing up and, like, destroying their lawn and, like,
I gotta ask Moji a question. So, Moji, I see you type it in here. Okay, so did you knowingly put him into the Conjuring house, or did you not put him into? I mean, I need to know just for my own personal benefit here. And is there any room for my kids to go there too?
Yeah, I wonder if those people were like, okay, full disclosure. No, this is going to look bad, but this is the Conjuring house. And if anybody else has any comments you want to leave, man, now is the time. I mean, in the chat, and we'll get to them. Oh, we found out after. Damn! Damn! Somebody got dicked.
It's like not even on the friggin'. It's like, here's the pamphlet. It's all small. It's all small print and shit.
It's on the pamphlet, like daycare 4 to 6 p.m. Fucking ghost tours 6 to 9. Like, oh.
Oh my God, he had an imaginary friend there. It's funny. Like my middle guy and I, growing up, he specifically saw like his grandpa. So man, I get you. He had an imaginary friend there. I don't think he was imaginary, man. I think he actually saw somebody.
Damn. Yeah. Now that's one I would like to do one night, man. Is do a podcast on like some real paranormal stuff that's happened to us. That'd be really fun.
Oh man, yeah.
We'll do it at 3 a.m. and you can take the camera with you into the bathroom and do Candyman and all kinds of shit for us.
Oh my God, dude! I think I've snorted like 3 or 4 times in this video, and I never do that. So I go into the bathroom, put a flashlight to my face, and do that for the camera. Yeah, that'd be awesome. It'd hook me up with the camera. Yeah, I'd have to like have the family leave for like a month and just say like, all right, and now we're gonna watch what happens to Necro. Let's see if he lives through the next month because he's called Candyman, Bloody Mary.
That's what we'll do. We'll start up a new paranormal challenge series where like you do the Candyman, Bloody Mary. We'll find the unedited, uncut Ring tape.
Yeah.
Like it's 7 days later.
Yeah. Let's see how to kill Necro in as many ways possible. It's okay. He's used to dying.
So, Juno 2000, hey, what's up, Juno? Long time no see, my friend. Hey, Talk Horror, I really don't like the new Scream film. It's just an insult to the series, and Scream 3 is much better and doesn't deserve all the hate it gets. Juno,
tell us why, though. I mean, if you have the ability, why did you like Scream 3 so much? I mean, because it was they were trying to close out the series there, and it was very forced. And they tried to really rip into Sydney's mom again and try and reopen the wound, but also give Sydney closure. I mean, it's the happy ending movie. Scream 3 came out soon after Columbine, and that's one of the reasons why the gore and the violence are toned down. In the movie, like Scream 1 was based off of the Gainesville Ripper, and Williamson locked himself in a hotel room in Palm Springs for he wrote it over a weekend. But Scream 3 was very toned down because of what was going on at the time, and acknowledged too. I think, in fact, they redid the cut based off of what had happened. But no, yeah, type away. I mean, I'm out of my whiskey, so I'll hang out. Anyways,
yeah, Columbine was definitely affected film a lot, and hell, music too. I remember Manson was getting owned and everything by that. So Moji says they cannot bring themselves to watch The Conjuring.
Yeah,
it is a good ass movie.
It's funny with the Conjuring is it's a rated R movie with the sole basis, because I don't know how much. I don't think there's a lot of cussing in it. There's no nudity. It's simply R because of how scary it is. It's the only movie that the MPAA that I know of where it wasn't based off of traditional things like smoking or drinking or abuse. It's just due to the fact that it's just scary. So yeah, man, I don't blame you, man.
Yeah, that's insane, dude. Dragon Blue says, Necro and I would have plenty of stories for you. I would love to hear them. We'll have to make that paranormal show happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's the people who know me best know that I'm very in touch with that side with it. I have some stories from when I was little, and then into my 20s with that. But yeah, I mean, you just have to be open to it. I don't think that we really go too much further out there, as especially if the people love you. They're not. I've even told my kids. I said, "Oh, I'll find a way. I'll find a way to get back to you. And I'll probably do something to annoy you when once I've passed. You'll be like 60, 70 years old, and like I'll pinch your butt or something. It's just mess with them.
They hear the toilet flush.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Here. Thanks, Juno. I felt Dewey is much better in Scream 3 and has to kill the killer, and in Scream 5 they made him look dumb by checking the killer, and they killed him in the most insulting way in the series. You know what? It's funny you mentioned that in regards to Dewey, because that's in Scream 5. That was why I brought up the point of, like, they brought back his limp, they brought back his wimpiness, they brought back his frailty, and it's like I thought they had dealt with that. I thought that was done, and they brought it back like he's an alcoholic and ditched by Gale.
Yeah.
And so who knows?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it either, Juno. I mean, we did discuss that. We think Dewey should have lived, absolutely, and Gale should have been the one to die, or something else. But
Gale needed to die because Gale was humping the same dream that she's been humping for her whole life. I mean, Gale. Yeah. Don't retract your message. But Gale's never grown. I mean, and she's not going to grow. I mean, look at the end of Scream 2. I mean, she gets into the ambulance with Dewey. That was supposed to be a big growth moment for her, as instead of getting in front of the camera, she goes to Dewey.
Yeah.
She never grows. And in fact, she should have been the one to die to enable Dewey to grow, to move past her and to do something meaningful with his life instead of living in a trailer. But because he's a guy, we're all big dumb animals, so we're going to end up in a trailer drunk and stupid. But
that sucks.
I can't totally disagree with that, but I mean, it's just it's a movie. Give us the fantasy. We're going to overcome.
Yeah, and I feel like, man, it was really cheap how they did Dewey, because I mean the way the characters are, man, it feels like Dewey and you could even argue this is throughout the entire series, man, is the only realistic freaking character. Like, he's a real person with real emotions.
Yeah, and holding on to that trauma. Not just of his relationship that he can't have with Gale, but also of what's gone on in the past. Yeah. I mean, he tries to be that guy to help them and save them. And more woman power in Scream 5. Yeah, I traditionally in horror movies, women are the secret power. I mean, it's not too unlike real life. I mean, sorry guys, but we have to be a sort of strength that can break and can be broken down and crushed, and we don't recover from it. But in horror movies, especially, is the women are the ones that overcome this power, but because of you see that traditionally in endings. It's the woman lives because that's hope. Man lives. It's just a man over that's an adventure movie.
Yeah.
that's Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's what the guys get, is we get those guys winning for us at the end.
Yeah, damn it. Even Billy Loomis died, and fucking 40 years later, he has a skeet baby running around.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so thoughts on the new characters in Scream?
Hated them.
Yeah.
Didn't care about any of them. The legacy characters that are left, like, that's, part of the problem I have with them is, like, they don't seem like real humans with real emotion, and that could be, maybe David Arquette's just a better actor than Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox. I don't know. But, it was like, it's like what I said, when the big sister's trying to cry for the little sister and she can't cry. But hell, at least she tried. But then when Dewey dies, it's like Neve or Gail and Sydney are just like, meh. Like, they don't, like, it's gone. And then that's the same thing with the characters. Like, their fucking friend just got annihilated in brutal fashion along with his mom. And that night, they're partying it up and watching the Stab movies, which are based off of these murders. Like, that's... I mean, would you really?
Yeah.
Like,
that's why I think Gail's going to die in the next one, and then Sydney will die ultimately in the end of the end of this. I think they're making this into a trilogy. But she'll die for a good cause or something, and it'll lead to something. I don't know. I've kind of that they tried to have Randy's sister's kids be like the new Randy.
Yeah.
And it didn't really. I mean, the best. I mean, one of the only good parts was where it's like, just look behind you, and then she actually does, and it's like, oh shit. I mean, that part was entertaining. It was like, what if Randy had looked backwards?
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I don't know. I mean, what do you think? You think it's like Sydney's going to pass that torch, or?
She almost has to. I mean, it's almost like, because they've set it up for Billy Loomis's daughter to have some sort of conflict in the second movie of where she has to go dark. She's going to have to go, like, she's finally killed somebody. Yeah. And Billy directed her to the knife, and she stabbed the shit out of the guy in that movie. And I think she's going to have to go dark. I think she's going to have to, they're going to have to push the darkness for it. But the thing about it is that, is Williamson going to have to pull something out of his ass to make it emotional, of where you really feel bad for her that she's gone dark. Yeah. And we'll see. I mean, is it going to be Billy taking over her body, or is it going to be her just realizing that deep down she's a killer and she'll always be a killer? Kind of going... shoot, like, it just
a Nightmare on Elm Street 2 with it.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, that's kind of, Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is a werewolf movie, but but like, shoot, what was that? Probably one of these guys would know what it was. Is where the guy's a psycho killer, but he only kills bad people.
Yeah, Maniac. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Maniac, or yeah.
But yeah, man. So, but I mean, you never know where these series could go, because I thought for sure, like, I would have bet that Laurie Strode would have died in Halloween Kills, just so that way it would have shocked the shit out of people to enough to where they'd wonder, oh my god, where the hell is Halloween Ends going? I figured for sure she's going to, like, pass the torch to Andy Matichuk, and I thought for sure that was going to happen, and then it turns out Laurie Strode is a total non-character in Halloween Kills. So,
yeah, I mean, I've had so many discussions about Halloween Kills, because, I mean, really, Halloween Kills, the bad guy in the movie is the town, and I think they really failed in the direction that they shot the movie. They should have made Michael's killings very low key, very just, he's killing people. It's off scene, kind of old school 70s stuff of like he kills people, they die, but the true violence and the gore of the movie comes from the town. Yeah, and you get a little bit of it when they're storming the building to try and get to that guy who, oh, that's Michael Myers, that's that's the guy, and we're gonna break down doors, we're gonna do everything possible. Like, they should have made the town the real bad guy, and they tried to do that in the fourth movie where they kill
Ted Hollister.
Yeah.
Like, they shoot into the bushes. I'd hate to have been Ted Hollister and that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You just have five dudes with shotguns plowing that ass. Like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, the sad thing is, like, for me, because I loved Halloween, the first movie, so much, I did like the integration of the old characters in the new movie, though a lot of people didn't really have a lot of attachment to it. It's like the kids who were babysit. I mean, that was like, how are they dealing with this? I mean, it's just terrifying. Like, the real boogeyman shows up, and like, what would that do to them as adults?
Yeah.
So, I saw someone put, I loved Halloween Kills. I enjoyed the movie. I did. I liked the characters that were in it. For me, I do like, I am a big nostalgia guy. I still like Casablanca and stuff like that, where, you think back on older times. But I think they just failed in what the message of the movie should have been. And because they gave Michael not too much screen time. I think the screen time was fine, but is really emphasize the town is the bad guy in this movie. And that was the problem.
So Juno wants to know if we think it's getting overdone with new sequel titles, name being the name of the original film. And yeah, that does suck. Especially, because of... Well, I mean, it's already a thing right now. Like, if I tell you I'm talking about Halloween 2, for instance, I have to tell you which damn Halloween
2 you're talking about.
Yeah, the original Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, Halloween 2018. Like, but that also, proof in point. Like, if I was talking about, if I said, man, Necro, you need to watch The Final Destination. Which one are you fucking talking about? Final Destination or The Final Destination, Dick? Like,
yeah. I mean, that's the problem. I mean, we've had that for what, 6, 7, 8, 9 years of nostalgia movies. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's like, think about the audience that we have right now. The audience that's existing right now. It's like, we love those movies. We want to feel like what it felt like to watch that movie again, and that connection. We had Laurie come back. We had Linda Hamilton come back in another Terminator movie. I mean, you think about Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone keep showing up in these movies because of the nostalgia of the power that we gave those icons. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you want to flip the switch back onto ourselves, it's like, wait a minute. We're looking at 50, 60, 70-year-old people to rely on to be our heroes. It's like, is that an underlying problem with horror, with adventure movies, with everything, with our lives? Is like, why can't we be the heroes? Why are we all just geeky nerds, playing a video game or something? Because we're not. I mean, there's everybody out there, right now, we're trying to find some sort of connection, but, we can all be that hero of the movie, and we don't have to be 70, 80 years old. I ran into that when my grandfather passed. He was, World War II vet, and people thinking like, oh, well, it's the greatest generation. Well, why can't we be great? Why can't why can't we be good to each other and be heroes? And use them more as an example instead of resurrecting them through Halloween 2 and Halloween, returns.
Because that's the fucking point too. Like, and I mean, a lot of people will say, like, one day I'm not going to be here to do this for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at the way that Halloween 4 ends. Halloween 4 has, to me, one of the greatest endings for a horror movie ever, is that the girl is the killer. This innocent girl has been infected with evil. And instead of Halloween 5 picking right up from there, they kind of make her that she's a recluse and she can't talk, and Michael returns.
Yeah.
And you dropped it. You dropped the ball in passing the torch to the next generation because Michael sells. And
Yeah. Well, they've tried that numerous times. I mean, you see it with you've seen it with Season of the Witch. Like, they tried to, go a different route with the franchise. You've seen it when, Friday the 13th 5 follows an imposter. And, they even had to do stuff where, like, Friday the 13th 5, it's imposter Jason. People got pissed. People didn't want that shit. So part 6 is they literally titled it Jason Lives. So fans would know Jason's back. Like, that's how much of a sell. And that's why Halloween 4 is called The Return of Michael Myers. They had to sell the fact, like, he's back, people. Like, we fucked up. We know what y'all want.
Yep.
So,
well, they even said that Season of the Witch would have been a decent, movie had it not been Halloween 3.
I definitely think it would have performed better and much more well received. Like, if it had been named just Season of the Witch.
Yep. And they even debated about that too. So
yeah. Juno, let's see. We have J.K. He agrees with you that the town is the true villain in Halloween Kills. Vanderhoff says it's all marketing. No one's going to go see Scream 5. If new people would say Scream 5, I haven't seen the others. Juno 2000, what's your thoughts on Netflix's Texas Chainsaw Massacre film? Didn't think it was the best. Didn't think it was the worst. I thought it was entertaining. It was, it definitely had its problems, but I didn't think it was as bad as I've seen a lot of people trash it. ATG Nat, who is this guest? This is Necro, the filmmaker.
Yep.
And JK, I agree the Halloween 4 had a great ending. And JK, I did want to tell you, because you mentioned that you missed most of the live podcast, there will be another one in a couple of days. Me and the old Dr. Briggs will be back.
Yeah, Briggs.
Yeah. And then, Necro, man, we have went over our hour.
Oh, shoot, man.
Yeah, so, and I'm getting hungry. This is hell on a big boy, so.
All right, well, thanks, everybody. That was great.
Yeah, man, thank every single one of y'all for coming in. Glad to have y'all as part of the horror fam. Glad to have Necro on. And, man, holler at me anytime if you ever want to come back, dude. It was a blast.
If people enjoyed it and you want me back, man, I'd love it. I love talking horror movies. It's great.
Thank you
for having me, man. It was great.
But you do know if you come back, then that will technically be the sequel, and you're going to have to give us a little more than what you maybe if you were to do it shirtless or.
Yeah, I have to do the shirtless halter top.
Yeah, you have to come back in a.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to up the action.
Yeah, I'll have to flex harder than I am now.
Yeah, there you go. Make sure you do like 20 push-ups.
Yeah, I gotta do more
horror
push-ups.
movies. Oh man, see this one, dude. We're getting all these damn compliments and stuff. I think it's the unanimous people want you back. So, we'll have to plan something out, dude.
Anytime, man.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Thank y'all for coming in. Until next time. Look horror, listen horror, and Necro.
Talk horror.
That's right. There we go. Look at the fucking suspense on that, man.
I know you like it.
Yeah, that was some Hitchcock level stuff.
Yeah.
All right, see y'all, man.